interested in being involved and they're passionate, and try to help them find where in politics they can, make the most, right? So maybe I'm terrible at block walking. I walk up to the door, people don't want to answer it, right? But I can do other things. Other folks, they're great at the door, or they're great on the phone, or they're really good writers, or they are really good. They want to go down to Austin and they want to testify, and they want to share their stories. So we just try to get those people connected. And so we have the podcast to try to educate people. We had guests on, or we talk about current events, or we had a group called the Immigration Accountability Project on 2 weeks ago. And we talked a lot about H-1B visas, what the system is, how it works, what are some of the limits on it. We've had electeds on and candidates on and election experts on and all sorts of stuff. So we're trying to connect people with the information or with the candidates as best that we can.
Oh, that's wonderful. Getting people plugged in, I think that's been missing a lot of times in our process. Because I ran for office a while back, and it was really amazing to me what I didn't know, and where I think I represented what we all think politics and politicians should be. People who you're a business person. I own my own business. Used to be an engineer. And, I see all these problems. I see all this money being spent, but I don't see any solutions. The problems just continue.
Right.
And since I ran, it took running to actually introduce me to the process to know where I could plug in and what the opportunities were. And so now I'm glad to be here to support Fred and Jill. Fred excites me, for instance, because he's an accountant.
Yes.
He knows numbers and he understands waste and fraud.
Yes.
And I think that's important.
I've known him for some of his compliance work that he does.
Okay.
Right, working with different campaigns on that stuff. He's worked with the Dallas County Republican Party as the treasurer, and it's just Kyle and I on the podcast earlier this year had a conversation where it's just I just want boring, competent governance for a little bit. A lot of times that's when you get the most accomplished. It doesn't have to be a big, splashy, viral moment. It could just be I really know what I'm doing, and so that I can do the things that need to be done. I miss that.
To me, competent governance is I know you use the word boring, but isn't it pretty exciting?
It is.
The thought of people showing up to work and just doing their job.
Yes.
And that's what excites me about the process. And that's what excites me about people like Fred, the accountants, the people who are going to make positive change. It happens that I sell Christmas lights.
Yeah.
And, think about when the season is. And I notice, my season overlaps the political season so often. And so when healthcare is an issue, when elections are controversial, when there's a lot of turmoil, people don't buy lights.
Okay.
And they call us, and we like to answer our own phones, and we like to work with our customers directly.
Right.
And after years of hearing in their voice, I'd love to buy more, but I can't, or this, because when people hear a friendly voice on the other end of the line, we just build a conversation.
Right.
And that's what has driven me. So that's what's driven me, because we just want to affect positive change.
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of people, they write off politics. They say that's not anything I need to be worried about. I met a grown man who's never voted. Can you imagine? I really cannot imagine, because politics affects so much of our lives. And so I think my goal, working with different organizations, is to try to get as many people engaged as possible.
So what organizations do you work with?
So I'm working with Cowtown right now, Cowtown Republican Women.
Okay.
I'm excited that I'm headed to San Antonio to the convention for Texas Federation of Republican Women. And that's where, but I also attend Fort Worth Republican Women and different organizations like that. But then I'm also just wanting to, I'm a member of the Rotary. And it's exciting. I head to Rotary, and we talk about, it's wonderful talking about how to serve our community. So I think aren't we tired of just being home?
Right.
I think COVID, you mentioned COVID, that kicked you off. For me, I think some of us turned off the switches and didn't get them turned back on. So my goal is to help people figure out where they belong, just like you.
So how do we do that? How do we get those people turned back in?
Well, I think first, I think we meet them where they are, whether it's social media, whether, I think younger, I hate to say younger people, but, the folks in their 20s and 30s, they're not just, they're interested in having meaningful experiences. They want to have a positive impact. They want to make a difference. And I think what we have to do is give them the opportunity to do that. So that means we need to be serious. We need to be serious about what we're doing. We need to have more than rhetoric, but we need to have action. And I think action and positive change, it's going to attract people. And I think that's really important. I think we saw that in the last election. There's something about President Trump and his straight talking, his sense of humor, but that his direct approach and his desire to create positive change now and not later, even if it's to his detriment, is attractive to people. I don't know, would you agree? Do you think that's an accurate statement, or?
I definitely think people they want to be led, like they want a leader that's got a plan, because there's just so much complexity to life in general that it is nice to be able to have somebody that has a direction that you might not necessarily agree with every step, but you like the path. And that's, I think, what people sort of crave with political leaders in the US. Like, we don't want to be dominated. We don't want a king. We don't want a tyrant, but we do want somebody that we want to follow and we like where they're going. And I think that that's what a lot of people are missing, because for too long, politics became about like these little isolated fighting points. Right. And we sort of lost track of the overall direction of what we're trying to do. I think Trump does a good job of that. I think that's a good lesson that people could take from it. What advice would you give to candidates on like, hey, this is how you can like move people off their keisters and bring them into the mix?
I think get out. I think the number one thing that a candidate could do is get off their keister and get out into their districts and shake some hands. And, it's uncomfortable. I don't want to date myself, but I campaigned for Reagan before I could vote. And I also worked for a congressman back before answering machines. And I worked a phone bank. And I just remember how many friendly people there are in the world. And apparently when you're in your teens, you just are fearless. So find that fearlessness in yourself, get on the phone, hit the doors, because it's important. What I found when I found that meeting people was the best part of running for office. And how in the world, and I found that I asked more than I spoke. And when you do that, people will tell you, and people will let you know what they want, and that will give you the direction. If you want to engage people, hear them and receive what they have to say, and be open to those types of discussions, because I don't know about you, but I don't know everything.
I try to pretend like I do. So for folks that are listening, folks that are watching, you talked about, the work that you do at Cowtown, Republican Women. Are there events coming up or things that people should know that they can come participate in?
Well, what you need to just in your area, I don't know, all over North Texas, go to your county, go to your GOP county websites for your GOP county chairs. And I don't know if I'm on camera, but go and find the calendars and find, go to the websites. Mm-hmm. Sorry to stumble over this. I think it's a little bit of research. Go online, find out what's coming next. Most organizations, they're running meetings every month. And then be on the lookout as we get closer to election. You're going to see forums, panel discussions, and these are great and easy ways to engage. And then start looking at the candidates. Take a look. Here's a thought. Figure out what Senate district you're in for Texas Senate. Find out what your House district is for the state of Texas. Find out. It's interesting to think. I met someone who didn't know who Mike Johnson was recently.
Okay. Yeah.
Find out, get engaged, find out who your congressman is, and just start to read a little and start digging in and find candidates that are running for office that inspire you, and then meet them. And if you really get, and then volunteer, put your ideas in practice and become part of the process. Does that answer
Oh, it does.
your question?
Yeah. No, that's perfect. I mean, that's laying the roadmap out for not only what people can do right now, but in the next year, the next 2 years as we go into the midterms and then other presidential elections. So that's good. Well, Shellie, thank you for sitting down with us.
Well, thank
We're having
you
a
for
better
having
minute
me.
for us.
And
And
I just really
yeah,
appreciate it. It's
absolutely.
good to meet you both. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.